Hey man, it's your boy Butler, man. It's the best day of my life. Tomorrow is not promised. Go ahead and do your little dance while they still playing your song. If you have the opportunity, stay your ass out of prison. So now that we got that out the way.
But
Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, now, so you ever wonder how something built for protection turns into something nobody can control, folks? Right now, inside the Georgia Department of Correction, there is a war going on. Not Bloods versus Crips, not inmates versus guards, but blood versus blood. Yeah, I said it. Blood versus blood. Now, entire prisons on lockdown, stabbings, retaliation, people getting hit not for what they did, but for what they claim. And the crazy part, to understand what's happening right now, you gotta go all the way back to where it started, like Los Angeles, early 1970s, because this didn't start in Georgia. This didn't even start in prison. This started as survival. Now, back in the late 1960s and the early 1970s, Los Angeles was changing. Gangs weren't new, but structure was. The Crips were rising fast, organized, aggressive, expanding, and smaller neighborhood gangs. They had two choices: fall in line or get run over. So, what happens when multiple groups feel pressure from one dominant force? They come together. That's how Bloods were born. Not as one gang, but as a loose alliance. Different neighborhoods, different leaders, same enemy. And at the beginning, there was no unified leadership, no single rule book. That's important because from day one, the Bloods weren't built on structure. They were built on alliances, and alliances don't always last. Now, here's where people get it twisted. When people say Bloods, they act like it's one organization. It's not. It's sets. Different identities, different politics, different rules. You got Pyru sets, Rim sets, Bounty Hunter Bloods, Denver Lanes, and more. Each one has its own history, its own leadership, its own enemies. So when people say blood versus blood, apparently that's not new. That's been happening since the beginning. But once the common enemy becomes less important, internal conflicts start to matter more. Respect, territory, power, and inside prison. Those conflicts get amplified. Street politics don't stay on the street. They follow people inside. When incarceration rates went up in the 80s and the 90s, gangs didn't disappear. They reorganized. Inside prison, gangs became protection, identity, currency. But here's the problem: when you bring loosely connected sets into a tightly controlled environment, you force them into close proximity. Now you got rival sets living on the same dorms, using the same phones, eating the same tables, and tension. It builds, and it builds fast. So why do Bloods go to war with each other? It usually comes down to a few things: misalignment of leadership. There's no single leader of all Bloods. So who do you listen to? A homie from your city or someone claiming rank in prison? That confusion creates conflict. Two, fake checking, rank disputes. Somebody claims rank, somebody else doesn't recognize it. Now it's, you gotta prove it. And in prison, prove it usually means violence. Street beefs brought inside. What happened on the street doesn't disappear. If anything, it gets worse. It gets worse. Because now there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. Four, control of prison economy. Inside prison, everything is business. phone, drugs, food, protection. And when multiple blood set want control, that could possibly turn into war. How blood spread to the South. Let's talk about how this even got to the South, got to Georgia specifically, got into the Georgia Department of Corrections specifically. Because originally this was a West Coast thing, bro. Like, we weren't claiming gangs down here, bro. That was not what was going on. You might claim your hood, you might claim your zone at some point in time, but for the most part, bro, that was some Cali. That was some West Side type action. Now, in the '90s and the early 2000s, people moved from California. Prison transfer happened. Music culture spread. You had Snoop, NWA, MC8, DJ Quick. Tonight is the night. All right, so now media amplified a lot of the nonsense that's going on right now. And suddenly, cities in the South started adopting blood culture. But here's the issue: a lot of these newer members didn't have the same history, the same structure, or the same understanding. So now you got different interpretations, different rules, different expectations, and all under the same name. And that leads to confusion. And confusion, most of the time, leads to conflict. Now, bring up all of that into the Georgia prison system and then add understaffing. It's not enough officers in the Georgia Department of Corrections. It just simply is not. It's just not enough officers in the Georgia Department of Corrections. The Georgia Department of Corrections have been understaffed for some time now. It's effing ridiculous, bro. In the month of January, there were 35 documented unalivings. February, I think it was like somewhere like 32. Hey man, at this rate, bro, it's somebody dying. It's at least 1 or 2 people dying a day in the Georgia Department of Corrections. And there's no end in sight. Now, when there are not enough officers, there's less control. And when it's less control, and you have, I don't know what it is about this next generation. When I say this next generation, I guess I'm talking about the people. I'm 50. I'm 49 years old, bro. So I'm old. I'm a grandpa. I can get discounts at certain places. So, a lot of the things that I see, bro, it's just, I'm at awe. I'm in awe. And right now, prison is not the way that it was when I was there, bro. When I was there, I never saw a cell phone. I smoked a pen joint, but that was dope. I hadn't got in myself. They active. They are active. I see them sometimes and I get sleepy. I get sleepy because they do not play the ball. It's not a game, and they bought that action. And fortunately, I hadn't had to participate in any of that. I am a civilian. I'm an old man, but I've been out of the chain gang 20 years. But from my understanding, the Georgia Department of Corrections is overcrowded. It's too many inmates. You got people sleeping in the day room, sleeping in the mop closet. Bro, they stack into tight spaces. Whenever it's a situation like that and you got so many drugs and access to drugs, bro, it's going to get weird. It's going to get weird. So you got phones everywhere. You got drugs everywhere. Communication never stops, which is why right now in Georgia, today, it popped off at several different prisons. It popped off. So this is what I was told. I was told that, let me make sure I get it right. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Now, I was told that today, well, this is an update. Visitation may have been it may be canceled for this week in the Georgia Department of Corrections. Okay, so officials believe the fight to have been gang related. A spokesperson confirmed. Is that a video? No, it's not a video. All right, so statewide lockdown due to the things popping off at other facilities. I have heard life flights to have been called to Wilcox State Prison, Smith State Prison, and Dooley, all off the chain. Where state prison on lockdown? Um, Riverbend. Two life flights just got called to Smith and at Calhoun. This is all within the same hour, bro. This was a calculate. This was, hey man, this, them folks didn't come to play. Whatever, whoever set it off, they was be have a great. Nope, that's been canceled. It's a stab. It was a stabbing at Jackson. So Dooley step man, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so I wanted to say that there was a. All right. Okay, so this is Smith State Prison. Hold up. This is Smith State Prison. Come on, bro. That's them taking bodies away. Helicopters and I guess emergency teams. Uh, mm, that's crazy, bro. Okay, so two very high-ranking 45 tailor-made blood members severely stabbed up on the walk at Wilcox. What is 45 tailor-made? I just want to see, bro. Yeah, so I have Googled, I have tried to find, and I don't see any 45 Taylor game updates. I again, I'm a civilian, I'm a grandpa, so a lot of this stuff I'm just not up on. I am supposed to have a live going on with Sosa Money, who's gonna, you know, bring in something else. All right, so when there's weak supervision, man, it's overcrowded and understaffed. When leadership isn't controlling the environment, bro, the gangs will, the inmates will believe that. And now you've got different blood sets, different leadership, different interpretations, all forced together with access to phones. So now beefs don't stay in one prison, they spread, and they spread fast. Right now, what you're seeing inside of Georgia prisons is escalation, lockdown, stabbing, retaliation, and the dangerous part is not always organized. Sometimes it's rumors, miscommunication, social media influence, people trying to prove themselves. So what starts as a small issue turns into a chain reaction. The real cost is this though. At the end of all this, who really loses? Because you telling me it's bloods versus bloods. To me, it looked like black people killing black people. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It just looked like black people killing black people. Um, who really loses, bro? Who really loses? Because it's not just the people that's involved, man. It's the families, the communities, people coming home with trauma. I know people that's coming home, bro, with bodies, and they ain't been charged with them, but they have killed people, bro. That's something weird and dark on your conscience. That shit is crazy. Then you got people that's not coming home. You got people that they don't die in chain gang. I did a report a couple of months ago. GDs versus blood. Muslims versus blood. It's like bloods is they don't get no they don't excuse my language. They don't get no fucks. Um the sad part about this, bro, is the system keeps moving. It never stops. When you die, they just go get somebody else, bro. And it just keeps going and keeps going. Um this didn't start in Georgia, bro. It didn't start in prison. And it didn't start as war. It started as protection, as unity, as survival. But over time, structure broke down. Understandings got lost. And now You've got a situation where people under the same flag don't even recognize each other anymore. Blood versus blood. Not because they have to, but because somewhere along the way, the meaning changed. I ask you, what is this going to solve? This has been Butler. My goal is to keep you out of prison. So I'm going to give you the details, but I'm also going to give you my opinion. I think that if black people stop killing black people, there will be no Bloods versus Bloods. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I am out.